No, I'm very confident in my takes, okay? Most of my takes I think end up right, or at least very close to being the right take. And the one that I slipped up on was the Ben Simmons take. And you know, I still get hate for that. Like, I still get hate for it.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, guys. So you read that correctly, okay? Ben Simmons to Spurs. Still a thing. This is actually Sports Illustrated that posted this, in which they said NBA trade rumors, Nets Ben Simmons to Spurs. What? Okay, so we'll talk about this. I think you guys know my thoughts when it comes to Ben Simmons at this point. So I don't know. We're gonna dive into it. Before we do, if you guys want to support the channel, as always, clanthemerchfan.com. I need to get some other merch designs out pretty soon. I'm still catching up on some. What is up with my internet? I'm still catching up on some orders from a while ago, actually, and you guys know the story. You know why. But yeah, I'm gonna catch up on all that. But if you guys want to support, please do. clanthemerchfan.com. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this. So NBA trade rumors: Nets Ben Simmons to the San Antonio Spurs. Let's see if there's any credibility to this. So let's see. Bleacher Report proposed the idea of the Nets to trade Simmons to the Spurs, along with the 2023 first-round pick from the Phoenix Suns for Doug McDermott. Wow. If there were ever an organization or coaching staff that could bring Simmons back to an all-star level, however, it will be the San Antonio Spurs. All right, so let's start with that sentiment, okay? I'm going to be real. Initially, I said this as well, like a year or so ago when I had the take of, hey, go after Ben Simmons, like do whatever you can. Why not? You know, he's a really good player, or he can be a really great player again. I don't know if I believe that anymore. And I don't want to just be a Debbie Downer when it comes to his career or whatnot. But I mean, I watched these games with him with the Brooklyn Nets, man, and it's just not, it's just something missing. I mean, does he have his burst? Yeah, he definitely has that. His basketball IQ is still high, defense still decent, but man, oh man, it's just something that he's missing. That aggression is just not there, and I don't know if he's going to be able to get it back. And even if the San Antonio Spurs were to take him on, oftentimes, here's the thing, like when the Spurs take on players that have already been established in the NBA, they don't change that much. You might be able to bring something out of their game that people didn't necessarily know. Like, for instance, DeMar DeRozan, right? Him coming to the San Antonio Spurs, he wasn't a better player with the Spurs. Now, maybe his IQ increased just a little bit or whatnot, but the San Antonio Spurs, I mean, they were able to bring out things that he already did well, but he wasn't asked to do at Toronto, and that would be facilitate, right? We had no choice but for him to be the facilitator on the team at times, and he did very well at that. But I wouldn't go out of my way to say DeMar DeRozan became a better player, like that much of a better player going to San Antonio. I just don't see it that way. Same thing with LaMarcus Aldridge. He was the exact same player when he got to San Antonio, and he was the exact same player once he left, right? Like there was no, oh, we just really brought him back to life or anything like that. Obviously, he was already a good player, but you get the gist of this, right? So I think it'll be the same thing with Ben Simmons. What the Spurs are great at is taking young players or players that didn't necessarily get a shot and then bringing the best out of them. But guys that are already established in the league, like Ben Simmons, I'm not sure how much better the San Antonio Spurs would do for him. Like, the reason why I thought Ben Simmons coming to the Spurs initially would be beneficial for him is because if he went to San Antonio, he wouldn't have all the lights on him. It seemed like he was very uncomfortable with Philly fans and Philadelphia area and whatnot. And I just thought that maybe a new atmosphere or whatnot, a new environment, that's what I meant to say, would just help him much more. But now I'm convinced that I don't think it matters where he goes. This is just an aggression thing that he is just not tapping into anymore. And I have no idea what happened. Let's go ahead and finish this up. The Spurs, and there's another thing that I want to bring up as well, but the Spurs are also in terrific financial shape with a swap of Simmons and McDermott still only bringing San Antonio 2023-24 salary total to 108.3 million, leaving them with approximately 25.7 million in cap space. The Spurs also add another first-round pick this summer, currently projected to be 21st overall. So look, the trade-off here is basically McDermott for Simmons, basically, right? Is that a bad trade-off? No. I mean, there's still potential there for Simmons, and I wouldn't mind that at all necessarily. But the only thing that holds me up, and this is what I was going to bring up, the only thing that holds me back from that is the fact that I'm not huge on saying a player comes in and it's going to hinder the growth of young players or anything like that. But I do feel a little bit weird if we bring in Ben Simmons and we have him be like the point guard when we have Jeremy Sohan, and the Spurs have been open in saying that if we were to get Wemby, that Sohan could easily, I mean, they could easily move him to the 1. And not only that, he's already played the 1 quite a bit this season. So I just want him to get more of those touches and not spend it on Ben Simmons. Also, I said this when we drafted Jeremy Sohan, and people got a little angry with it, but I said, like, the question was, who could he end up becoming? And I said he could be a really good Ben Simmons, like the best version of Ben Simmons. But the thing with Jeremy Sohan and the difference between him and Simmons is that he is willing to shoot. No matter what, he is willing to shoot. He doesn't shy away from it. I just don't see a point in bringing in Simmons if it's going to take away from Sohan's growth. I don't see it. Now, maybe you bring him in if you were to get Wemby, and that's the thought process. Oh, it's time to start building around Wemby. I don't think you need to do that just yet. I think you grab Wembayama, you grow from there. You don't take forever to grow, obviously, right? But you make it as natural as possible, and you don't have to fit in players that could potentially be really good again. But Ben Simmons, he's just one of those guys where I don't want to be a jerk, man, but I just kind of gave up on him. I just kind of gave up on him. But this is going around, making rounds around Twitter, making rounds around Google, if you will. And yeah, so people are talking about it. Ben Simmons to the Spurs, is that a possibility? In my opinion, I don't think so. I don't think it makes a lot of sense for the Spurs. It just, yeah, unless you trade him and then the idea is that maybe we can trade him again for a different package. I don't know. I just don't think it's a good idea. And he's not a trash human being. He's not a locker room cancer like some people might say. I don't believe that. But I will say that bringing in Ben Simmons doesn't make a lot of sense at this point. So I am completely, and I mean completely, off of that bandwagon there. But yeah. Also, Doug McDermott, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I actually do like Doug McDermott on the team. I've been very open in saying that I don't want a ton of vets like taking a bunch of minutes from the young guys, and I stand by that. But Doug McDermott is one of those guys where I don't really feel like he's taken away from anyone on the team, and I think that that's what's key here. But yeah, just I don't know. That was a little tangential. I'm sorry. Anyways, you guys want to support the channel, as always, clanthemerchfan.com or become a patron and YouTube member, only $2 per month. I'll give it to you guys later. Till next time. Bye.